been a while, but it's time for another episode of the most disrespectful lines in diss tracks. Number 10. The Bitch in You. If you've seen my video covering the beef between Common and Westside Connection, then you probably already know how I feel about this track. If you haven't seen it, then go check that one out after this. One of the most disrespectful lines on here is easily, "Your lease is up at the crib, house niggas get evicted. And videos of white boys talking you get wicked." That being a reference to the song Wicked from Ice Cube's third album, which featured members of the rock band Red Hot Chili Peppers in the video, hence the white boys Common mentions. Basically calling out the perceived hypocrisy of Ice Cube being seen as pro-black, but having white artists in the video of your hit single could be seen as selling out. Number 9. Back to Back. The hit song and diss track from Drake to Miche'le. The beef between these two started over Miche'le feeling slighted by Drake not tweeting out his album, Dreams Worth More Than Money. Remember the famous Miche'le tweet about Drake not writing his own rhymes? This led Drake to come back with the diss tracks Charged Up and the aptly named Back to Back. What line from this song makes this list? There's a few honestly, but is that a world tour or your girl's tour? I know that you gotta be a thug for her. This ain't what she meant when she told you to open up more. It's just too funny. Of course, this was a reference to Meek's new relationship with Nicki Minaj and how Meek was one of the openers for her tour, essentially stating that her fame surpasses Meek's and attacking his manhood. Ouch. Number 8. Kill Shot. Eminem killed Machine Gun Kelly, or at least that's the general consensus. Where do you even really begin with this track? What line will he go with, you might be asking yourself? Well, there's at least a few to pick from here, but for me it's gonna have to be, "Younger me? No, you'd whack me. It's funny but so true. I'd rather be 80-year-old me than 20-year-old you." Yeah, as hyperbolic as it might seem, it's simply one of the most brutal lines on the track, as Eminem essentially states that he would rather be an old man than be young and have the career of Machine Gun Kelly. Completely disrespectful. Number 7. To the Break of Dawn. LL Cool J's diss track aimed at Kool Moe Dee, MC Hammer, and Ice-T. If you've seen my video on the beef between LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee, then this one should ring a bell for you too. On this one, LL Cool J goes off on all three, but one of the most disrespectful lines here is easily on the third verse, which is aimed at Ice-T with the lines, "You're disobedient with the wrong ingredients, but I'ma drink you down over the rocks while the freak on your album cover jocks. You're gonna hear a real ill paragraph soon. I took the cover right home to the bathroom. In the immortal words of LL, hard as hell, your broad wears it well. She's the reason that your record sold a few copies, but your rhymes are sloppy." That's a reference to Ice-T's album Power, which features his girlfriend on the album cover in a bathing suit. Basically, sex sells. Ice-T's rhymes don't. Number 6. Stay Strapped. Like mentioned in my video covering the beef between Gucci Mane and Young Jeezy, this here was one of my favorite tracks and basically the start of it escalating even more. This is the track where Jeezy put the 10K bounty out on Gucci Mane's chain. He really got disrespectful though with the lines, "Niggas talking all tough, steady hiding and shit. Even his own mama know Roderick Davis a bitch. To be honest nigga, there's nothing Gucci about you. You pussy nigga, everything's Gucci about you." Probably self-explanatory, but yeah. He not only mentioned Gucci's mother, but mocked his stage name as well, and called him a coward. What else is there to say? Number 5. Trigger Man. BG and Lil Wayne, former group mates that fell out over business, like they often do. BG dissed Lil Wayne and Baby on the beat for Wayne's hit single, Fireman. BG disses Wayne for essentially being fake and siding with Baby and Cash Money rather than leaving as BG had done. During the song, he takes shots at Wayne for his choice in women, however, with the lines, "First it was Nivea, now you and Trina engaged. I got 3 homies that say they nutted in her face." For those that don't know, Nivea and Lil Wayne were engaged. Then Wayne was engaged instead to Trina a few years later. As far as those friends of BG though, who knows? Number 4. 99 Problems, but Lil Flip ain't one. T.I. rapped over the beat from Jay-Z's song 99 Problems and absolutely dedicated this track to breaking Lil Flip down. From shutting down his King of the South claim, to dissing his album cover, and even physical threats, T.I. showed Lil Flip he's not to be played with. As several other artists do, he brought family into it however with the lines, daddy shoulda got some head, bet he wish he woulda worn a rubber, but he didn't, so now I guess the whole world gotta suffer. Cold tip, very cold. Before we get to the last 3, remember to click that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And if you want to support the channel even further, then click the link in the description below to become a channel member. Number 3, Ether. If you've been watching the series so far, you're probably wondering where it's been. Well, here it is. Nas verbally dismantled Jay-Z and Rockefeller Records on this track, with lines talking about everyone signed to the label and even Dame Dash. This is what popularized the idea that Eminem outperformed Jay-Z on the song Renegade. Nas was pretty thorough throughout this track, but at the beginning of the 3rd verse is especially disrespectful, as Nas sunned Jay-Z here quite directly. What's sad is I love you cause you're my brother. You traded your soul for riches. My child, I've watched you grow up to be famous, and now I smile like a proud dad watching his only son that made it. You seem to be only concerned with dissing women. Were you abused as a child? Scared to smile? They called you ugly? Essentially positioning himself as above Jay-Z in the rap game, while also expressing disappointment as well, and perhaps even trying to break him down psychologically. Number 2, Pimp Slapped. Snoop Dogg dissed Suge Knight on this track, and the most disrespectful line on here is a pretty simple but effective one. This nigga's a bitch like his wife. Suge Knight's a bitch and that's in my life, and I'ma let the whole world see, cause you fucked up the industry and that's on me. The wife of Suge Knight that he's referring to would be Miche'le, who was Dr. Dre's girlfriend prior to getting with Suge, and she had a child with both of them. Snoop, being loyal to Dre, decided to toss her in here while dissing Suge. Number 1, Infrared. In a previous video of the series, I talked about the story of Adidon, which is the diss track Pusha released after this one. The lines here that stick out are the very beginning of his verse. The game's fucked up, niggas beats is banging, nigga your hooks did it, the lyric pennant equal to Trump's winning, the bigger question is how the Russians did it, it was written like Nas but it came from Quentin. It starts off as a reference to Jay-Z's song, The Prelude, from his Kingdom Come album, but it all applies here to Drake. Pusha claims that Drake's success comes from outside help, like producers making the beats and Quentin Miller writing the rhymes, which itself is a reference to the Drake and Meek beef. And of course, the Trump mention is from the allegations that Russia had something to do with Trump winning the presidential election. This whole track was pretty cold, but attacking Drake for his writing, or lack of it, like Meek started off a few years prior, leaves a stain on Drake's career, which is prided on his writing skills. Now that was yet again another 10 of the most disrespectful lines in diss tracks. This one had a bunch of talking about girlfriends and wives. Hitting where it hurts though, right? What do you think about these tracks? Would you like to see another episode? Let me know in the comment section below.